Welcome back to the Midnight Who Show. Today we're going to be reviewing The War Doctor Begins, Forged in Fire from Big Finish Productions. Now this is a box set that sees Jonathan Carley take over from the late John Hurt. Now when this was first announced, I was a little hesitant on it. You know, Big Finish has been doing a lot of recasting as of late. Some of it's been really good, and some of it not so great, medium. But this is very soon after John Hurt. But I will say, Jonathan does an amazing job as this young War Doctor, which I think was a very smart choice, by the way, that Big Finish did. Because this is not the War Doctor we knew. This is the younger version. So I think that was a smart choice. And the impression, at times, didn't even feel like it. It felt like John Hurt's legacy was continuing in this performance. It didn't take me out of the story at all, which sometimes happens with impressions. So this box set includes 3 stories, which are Light the Flame, Lionheart, and The Shadow Squad. Episode 1 is a post-regeneration story for the War Doctor. Now, the events of the story are directly after the events of Night of the Doctor, so if you really want, before you listen to this, I would recommend rewatching that mini-episode with the 8th Doctor. It was really good. It'll definitely just lead right into this, which I really liked. I also really thought it was really an interesting thing to see how the Sister of Karn was respecting Cass. And we see a little bit of their ritual as they pay tribute to her life. I kind of like that it was included in this story. Matt Fitton did a really good job with this one. We get to see, the War Doctor kind of try to figure out who he is now. And there's a lot of good callbacks to, Brain of Morbius. But also I really liked how this doctor was reflecting on his past self. And, how, he made a few mistakes here and there. And, he thought he could really just run from this war. And I like that they explored that a lot in this story. Episode 2 featured the return of the Thalls. Which is just awesome. They haven't been around for a little bit. But I also really liked how the story kind of is told in a different type of structure than we're kind of expected. And they do a really good job with that because, sometimes when they do these kind of different type of approaches with stories, it sometimes can take you out of the story. But this one I really liked. I liked how the Time Lords are trying to figure out more about this doctor. And when they kind of learn what they think he did, even though he didn't really, they kind of like, yes, he's finally joining the war with us and he's going to fight alongside us. And how happy they are by that was just shows the Time Lords have been waiting for the Doctor to finally stop, avoiding the war and join their side. Episode 3, I think, is one of my favorites of this box set. It features the Daleks, which is also a really smart thing that Big Finish kind of took, a couple stories to kind of get used to this new Doctor. The Doctor to get used to this new warrior type of personality. And then he's facing the Daleks in this story. Now, I really like this interesting approach with this Dalek story. It shows what the Daleks will do to kind of stop these Time Lords and stop people from interfering with them. It shows the true kind of power of the Daleks. But the story also shows what the Time Lords would do. The Shadow Squad is such an interesting concept, basically setting them on this planet years before there was a conflict to actually get them basically ready to fight the Daleks, make them untraceable. That is just, indoctrinate them a little bit. That shows what the Time Lords would do to kind of get ahead in this war. And I really like that. And by the end of this episode, we get to see more of this Doctor being developed. This is a Doctor now who's basically saying, Doctor no more. He's this warrior self now, and he's going to get the job done no matter what. So they're kind of finding this balance between, the Doctor doing these things that you would not expect the Doctor doing, but still kind of being the Doctor just a little bit, it feels like. But the scene with him and the Daleks at the end of the story was really, really powerful. It really showed what the Doctor will do. And I liked how he said to the Daleks, you have me confused for another Doctor. It shows that this new Doctor is completely different, and it definitely sets him off into a new direction as he's going to try to get this war kind of dealt with. And we know what the path is going to be. It'll be really interesting to see what the next 3 box sets in The War Doctor Begins will be like. But yeah, Forged in Fire, I really enjoyed it. It was a really good first box set. You know, after being not so sure about this one, I think Jonathan Carley did a amazing job. He really made it his own. You know, it didn't even feel like an impression at times, and I really like that. There's some really good stories in this box set. And, you know, the character Tamazan is in this story, in these 3 stories. She's a great addition to it. There's a lot of good direction by Louise Jameson, she did a really good job with this one. There's a lot of good sound design and very unique stories that were each different from each other, and I really like that. But yeah, I would definitely recommend The War Doctor Begins. It's a really good box set. Big Finish did a really good job creating this new set of adventures for this War Doctor. You know, because we never really thought we would get adventures again, and I think Big Finish made a really good choice setting this at the beginning for the War Doctor, because now we get to see how this Doctor started, and I'm really excited to see where it heads to in the future. So if you've listened to this box set, let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, everyone.